Drivers fans, welcome to Virtual Japan as we are here today for round number 6.
Oh, Pearson gets into the 95 of Folks. Here comes. All right, race fans, welcome back to the J2ICS Sprint Series every other Wednesday night. Here we're at Jerez for, and I quote, the Urco is the worst admin GP. Want to give a shout out to our title sponsor this season, Loop Communications. They are a provider of fully managed, hosted voice services for all of your business needs with no contract and no angst. Check out our friends at Loop Communications at loopcommunications.com. Drivers getting gridded up for the opening sprint race. Let's run through the starting order. On pole, it's Mr. Squilliam in the number 1 spot. Simply Steve starting second. Not even starting third. Black Bob Wallace starting 4th. Urco starts 5th. We've got Eat My Dust starting 6th. Cat Daddy starting 7th. Gavin Ammerman starting 8th. Sneezy Jr. starting 9th. Ryan Schwab, Garlic Dog starting 10th. David Iezzi starting 11th. Dutch starting 12th. And who's that going to be at the tail end? Our friend Biker Pilot, rounding out the 13-car grid here today. Now, it seems like the broadcast software has a little bit of errors. For some reason, a few of these drivers' nicknames aren't showing up properly. For those that were here last week, you can remember all the fun problems we had with last week's show. No nicknames available. But the lights are off, and we are underway here at the Urco is the worst admin GP. Our J2ICS sprint riders are going to dive it in deep into turn 1. And already we are wadding up some race cars. Squilliam, your points leader, is involved in that one. I see Sneezy Jr. off track. Sneezy's going to have to take a toe. Squilliam has problems keeping the power down. That car is hammered. So Simply Steve's going to have the race lead, but you've got Nodovan and Black Bob battling here right behind. Steve gets shuffled back to 3rd. Nodovan takes over the race lead and throws it away right in front of the field. A huge plume of smoke, and Nodovan is in the danger zone here. Gets that car pitched around, and let's try it once more. Now, in practice and qualifying, drivers were telling us how slippery the track conditions were here tonight. And obviously that is playing into it. So now it's going to be Eat My Dust, your race leader. Gavin Ammerman in 2nd, Dutch in 3rd. I just saw a little bit of smoke kicking up there. Let's pan back to 5th. Got a very fierce battle. Urco being chased by Simply Steve, Cat Daddy, Biker Pilot, Black Bob, all in the fray here. Now, already seeing some fans coming in. Squilliam was getting a lot of love. It looks like Simply Steve, Black Bob going to come down pit road for a green flag stop. Must have some sort of damage here. Normally, we don't see drivers pitting during the sprint race. Your top 3 getting a little bit spread out here. That's Eat My Dust, Gavin Ammerman, and Dutch sitting in 3rd. David Iezzi, he's having a great night, up 7 spots behind his teammate sporting the number 19 machine. Now we have this opening sprint race, a brief intermission, and then we're right back out on track for the feature event here tonight, which is going to have a pit stop included. There goes Biker Pilot, the number 42, working the inside line against Cat Daddy. That will be Pilot moving up 7 positions thus far, now up into 6th. Now, we got to report Squilliam was able to get back out on track. Try and salvage a little bit of an evening here. Drivers do have 2 fast repairs, those get out of jail free cards, but that doesn't do a lot for you if everybody else in front doesn't have any sort of issues. Looks like a battle for 3rd starting to shape up here between the 2 teammates, Dutch and Iezzi. Nose to tail Dutch in the 19. He's up 9 spots so far. Now, I'm interested to see how this is going to pan out for Urko, the 33. Urko currently running 5th. Coming into tonight, he was at a 26-point disadvantage to Squilliam, the points leader, but Squilliam all the way back in 12th. So this could be a little bit of a redemption arc for the 33 if he wants to get and hold on to that second place points position. And it looks like Nodovan going to be sitting 3rd in points here. The 128 currently down 6 spots. One of those handful of drivers who had a very rough go early on. Nodovan came into tonight ahead of Eat My Dust, 4th in points by only 2 points. So Eat My Dust, your race leader, just set the fastest lap with a 134.36. This could be a massive points night for several drivers here. You can really hear the tires screaming in protest here as drivers are trying to get some traction down. We've kept the camera focus in here on 3rd through 5th. Dutch, Iezi, Urko separate by about a quarter of a second every which way you split it. They have fallen just shy of 5 seconds back from Gavin Ammerman, the number 58, hold on to 2nd. Eat My Dust continues to wick up the pace here. The first driver into the 133s. And Nodovan back in 9th. Answers with the fastest lap of the race. And it just got another report. Squilliam back in 12th. He took that fast repair on lap 1 to get that machine fixed, set the fastest lap of the race. And we had another off-track reported. Dutch, the number 19, has an off-track. He's going to drop all the way back to 5th here. Iezi now up into 3rd. Urko in the 4th place position. Urko's trying to hammer down. This could be a massive points night for the 33 machine. Now it is 20 minutes is how long this race is going to last for. The laps are just a optimistic estimate. So here we go, the nice tidy bunch, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. This is going to be the battle for the podium as the top 2 drivers have absolutely checked out here. Urko took a look to the outside line, not quite able to find it. Tries to cut back against Iezi here. No such luck as we go side by side here for 3rd. Dutch watching his teammate do battle up ahead. Trying to lend his support. That's allowing Cat Daddy back in 6th to close the gap ever so slightly as we hint at some 3-wide action. Urko gonna come out on top of this one, up into the 3rd place position as the 2 teammates now go side by side for 4th. But Urko is gonna get good and clear here. A beautiful pass and a great example of racecraft amongst these drivers. And look at that, the entire field starting to bunch up here behind the battle for 3rd. You've got 3rd through about 9th place all in one shot. There's Nodovan slowly working his way back. And the 128, who just pitched it away, that was Dutch, the number 19. Loses it, tries to rejoin. Things are going to get exponentially worse for him here. I see Simply Steve. I think that's Simply Steve. Yes, it is, making his way around. And Black Bob closing the gap in the 666 machine. So Dutch, who was working so hard for a top 5 here, now finds himself relegated all the way back to 10th. Your top 5, Eat My Dust, Gavin Ammerman, Urko, David Iezzi, and Cat Daddy as it currently stands. Quite the race here. Iezzi keeping the pressure up on Urko. I've seen these two do battle before. And the regular Super Formula machines running Wednesday night, the Super Formula Lights here, the J2ICS Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications, allows drivers a little bit better opportunity to handle the cars without trying to avoid getting pitched off the track each and every corner. Urko has about a 4/10 advantage in climbing over David Iezzi. I think Iezzi must have had some sort of bobble there, the 91. As Urko now extends that gap to about 8/10 up ahead. I want to pan back as well. Here's 10th. You've got Black Bob and Squilliam sitting behind the number 19 who holds on to 10th. I think Black Bob and Squilliam are going to be kind of careful on where they try and pick a passing opportunity. I already had to use that one fast repair that put them so far on the back foot here tonight. Dutch fighting every way he can, but we had another off track. It's David Iezzi through the kitty litter here at the Urko is the worst admin GP. That's going to put Nodovan back up into 4th. Iezzi relegated back to 5th. Now Nodovan, as we are just past the halfway mark, might still have a shot of bringing home a 3rd here and really salvaging some points. We're watching Nodovan in the 128 trying to charge hard forward here. Nodovan came into tonight in 3rd, but his rival who's sitting in 4th currently leading the race. That's Eat My Dust, the number 24, who still has a very healthy margin. Eat My Dust about 2.3 seconds up over Gavin Ammerman. Now, I'm going to be curious to see with 13 drivers as well, as we're in the back half of today's sprint race sponsored by Loop Communications, what the strategies are going to be for the feature event that is immediately to follow. Nodovan doing a good job here trying to track down Urko. But Urko holding on to about a 3/4 of a second advantage. Nodovan hard on the binders. Looks like he pushes a little bit wide there. Oh, he did. He lost a whole bunch of time behind that 33 machine. That's going to give David Iezzi another firing opportunity here, the 91. Oh, I just saw an off track. That was David Iezzi. Big problems for the number 91. Let's see, can Cat Daddy the 78 capitalize? Did Iezzi get a slowdown there, I wonder? And if these two start battling too hard, Biker Pilot Ryan Schwab, Garlic Dog right behind Iezzi off track once more. Cat Daddy's going to move that 78 up into 5th here. So everywhere we look, there's good racing here tonight. J2ICS pulls up alongside Cat Daddy, deep on the brakes, able to take back over the 5th place position. And now there's Biker Pilot in the mix, number 42, starting to close the gap here. Now, it's worth noting as well, Squilliam sitting back in 10th, down 9 spots from where he qualified. He was the odds-on favorite to win it here today. Is continually showing pace. A 1:32.37 sets the fastest lap of the evening here. But unfortunately, I think Squilliam is going to be forced to be content with a 5th here as Biker Pilot continues the charge. He is now our hard charger. If he can make this stick, that pass against Cat Daddy is going to put the 42 machine up 7 spots thus far. Now panning back up to Nodovan, the 128, qualified 3rd, currently 4th out on track. Urko is going to do everything he can in that final podium spot to make sure the blue and yellow 128 cannot get around him here in the closing few minutes of tonight's opening sprint race. And once again, Biker Pilot and Cat Daddy going side by side here, put on a show for the fans. The Urko is the worst admin GP at the J2ICS Loop Communications Sprint Series. Now, if you're a fan, don't forget, these drivers run every Wednesday night, alternating back and forth between a sprint and endurance series. Free to join, and a whole lot of fun. You can sign up, register, get more information, J2ICS.com. Now, Garlic Dog starting to enter the picture here in the 199. Behind Cat Daddy and Biker Pilot. Looks like Black Bob had to come down pit road. Might have had a drive-through penalty, I wonder. Pretty easy to accumulate those here. Three minutes left to go in today's opening sprint race. It's Eat My Dust, Gavin Ammerman, Urko. 1, 2, 3. Nodovan and J2ICS rounding out the top 5. Gotta pan back to this frantic battle for 6th. Biker Pilot and Cat Daddy have given each other no breaks here tonight. Biker wants to hold on to that hard charger position. But Cat Daddy making him work for every single inch here. Garlic Dog, Simply Steve starting to close up behind. Every time these drivers get side by side and start taking little lunges at each other, slows down the pace ever so slightly and allows the drivers behind an opportunity to catch up and see if they can join the fray. Simply Steve in his return. Was another driver we expected to see battling for the race lead against Squilliam. Unfortunately, Simply Steve sitting 9th, Squilliam sitting in 10th. Not exactly the return that Steve was looking for as he dives it in deep. Number 23 forces a 3-wide situation. Looks like Garlic Dog wisely backed out of it, but that's going to put Garlic right ahead of Squilliam. So things are about to get mighty exciting in the closing minutes here. There goes Squilliam muscling that number 4 machine back up ahead of Biker Pilot. Garlic Dog back into 10th. And I'm not quite sure how during all that, but Simply Steve was able to get around just about everybody. William in tow, and let's see, we've got a battle for third here. The white flag is out here at the Urco is the Worst Admin GP, sponsored by Loop Communication. Urco and Nodovan side by side here for the final podium spot. Urco showing about a quarter of a second up over the 128 of Nodovan. Urco up 2 positions, Nodovan down 1 from where they originally qualified. Both drivers know this is the last lap to make any attempts here and secure that final podium spot. Eli Dust, Gavin Ammerman, way ahead here. They're about 7.5 seconds up over this battle for third. Nodovan trying to work the draft against Urco, and Urco's trying to put himself in a defensive position here in the 33. A half lap left to go. Checkered flag is out as Eat My Dust makes his way around the final corner of the raceway. Nodovan once again still taking a peek against Urco. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen. Eat My Dust gonna win the opening sprint of the night. Let's see what he can do in the feature event. Gavin Ammerman's going to get second. Let's pan back to this battle for third. As what just happened there? Nodovan and Urco involved in some sort of incident at the line. Nodovan pulls over. Oh, that's going to be worth the replay. Nodovan showing in third. David Iezzi fourth. Urco might have been robbed there with a fifth. We had 2 incidents on that one. We had Squilliam and Simply Steve have some sort of problem. Little nose-to-wing contact, it looks like, sends them both around. Let's back that camera angle up a little bit. And let's see, does Urco get a hit from behind, I wonder? Ooh, might have been a little bit of contact there. So we're going to wait and see what the official results are here tonight. We're going to try and get these drivers up here into the waiting room. The unofficial results right now are Eat My Dust, Gavin Ammerman, and Nodovan. 1, 2, 3. Looks like we've got Nodovan ready to go, so we'll get things started. All right, we got the 128 here joining us. Nodovan, you know we're going to ask, what happened in the final corner on that one?
I think I don't know, I assumed he was going to go a little bit faster than what he did, and I just kind of kept it on the throttle. I was hoping to kind of sling around his outside, but I think my front wing just barely clipped him, I think.
Now, do you think that might rob you of the podium finish here when that comes down to review?
I don't think so. I tried to give the spot back, but he was I know he obviously he did a full 3, he did a 180, so he was pointing the wrong way. But I don't know, it'll be hard to say. I think I might be safe, but it'll be hard to say.
Well, fingers crossed for you, man. You guys were put on a fantastic show. I mean, it seemed like half that race you guys were nose to wing the whole time. Now that you've kind of got some confidence under your belt, showing that you have the pace and doing a pretty good job of avoiding any incident, does that change how you're feeling going into the feature event here tonight?
Well, Well, my biggest issue this race was the spin I had on lap one. That really that tanked my position down. But I think going into the future race, you'll probably expect that now. So I'll probably take that corner a little bit slower. I don't know where Steve or Squilliam finished, but I know they were hovering around that 9th and 8th spot. So hopefully Garlic defended them off, but it'd be hard to say. I didn't see.
Well, Donovan, we're looking forward to the feature. Before I let you go, bud, who do you want to give a shout to that helps put you up here in the third?
I'd like to thank everyone on the first lap. They didn't hit me when I spun around. I think that definitely helped a lot because obviously if they would have hit me, I probably would have had to tow.
Well, awesome, man. Best of luck in the feature event. We'll be rooting for you up here in the booth.
Thank you.
That was Donovan bringing it home into third. Up next, we've got Spook Dubs. Gavin joined us. Gavin, looked like a fairly relaxing race in that second position.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad.
Now, Spook, over the course of the run, especially in practice and qualifying, drivers were telling us how treacherous the traction was out here at the Urco is the worst admin GP. Did that get better over the course of the run, or is it still a handful start to finish?
Wasn't too bad. I mean, middle stint was pretty rough. Tires definitely got cooked, I feel like, and then towards the end it got a little bit better, but still a little pretty greasy out there. Not a little greasy, but
Now, is that going to change your kind of strategy going to the feature event on when you opt to box?
Possibly. Well, I'll have to wait and see how the tires feel because I think it's going to warm up later into the feature race. So with how the tires are acting already, I have a feeling that it's probably not going to be any better. So definitely going to be a like a conservation game. See who can keep their tires up the best.
Well, I'm looking forward to the action. I know the fans are as well. And before I let you go, get ready for this feature, bud. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen?
Oh, man. Give a shout out to Prince Adam for getting me in here. Appreciate you, sir.
He's a pretty okay guy. Spook, always a pleasure, buddy, and best of luck out there.
Thanks, sir.
That was Spook Dubs bringing it home in third. Up next, we've got Eat My Dust, a dominant win. Lucas, I'm not sure how much time I have with this intermission, so kind of walk us through this race. It looked like you were just out there hot lapping, having a great time.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit of an instant netcode, I don't know, between my teammate and Squilliam, lap one, turn one. And then Donovan kind of spun himself a little bit there a couple corners later. And I, due whatever reason, just my somewhat ability to avoid those kinds of things, went inside and stayed full throttle, and everybody else kind of stayed outside and had to check up. So that gave me the gap that I had to maintain for the rest of the race.
Now, Eat My Dust, we were talking before tonight's show. Everybody is complaining about the track and traction conditions that we're facing out here tonight. With the forecast as it is, do you see any big changes that are going to be made, need to be made for drivers as far as tire strategy here tonight?
Well, for that race, track temp was like 110, and it's only going to get hotter. So I'm anticipating that most people are that are going to be competitive, apart from Squilliam, because he can do whatever he wants as long as he doesn't crash and still win, are going to need to take tires at the stop. It'll make the first couple laps out of the pits a little squirrely, but I think that'll be the strategy.
Now, it's going to be interesting as well to see how the start goes. It was a little bit of a rough one there in the sprint, but only 13 drivers. Do you expect things to be cleaner or just as exciting in the feature in the opening laps?
Well, I think where they ended up finishing, Squilliam, Steve, and I think Erico are going to start maybe the top three or so. I didn't pay that much attention to where they finished. So I expect Squilliam and Steve to start a little cleaner and then kind of just pull away from the rest of us. The rest of us being mixed up, it's gonna get a little dicey.
Well, it's going to be a fun one. Eat My Dust. Always a pleasure talking to you, buddy. Before I let you go, get ready for this feature. Who do you want to give a shout to that helps put you in the top spot?
Well, shout out to my teammate Steve for showing back up and first race back. We got another W for the team. Shout out to Erico for helping me try and learn the track a little bit there at the start. And shout out to my dad and my wife.
Awesome. Always a pleasure, Lucas. Thank you as always, bud, and best of luck in the feature.
Thanks.
That was Eat My Dust bringing it home in the top spot for the sprint. He was accompanied by Gavin Ammerman in second and Nodovan right out the top three. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more J2ICS. All right, race fans, we are back, and it is time to do battle here. The Urco is the worst admin GP. We've got him lined up here for today's final feature event. You got Biker Pilot on pole, that number 42 machine, so that's going to be an exciting spot to be. Squilliam starting second, Cat Daddy third, Urco starting fourth, and David Iezzi starting fifth with this inverted grid here for the feature. Lights get ready to go off, and we are underway for the 40-minute feature event here, the Loop Communications Sprint Series of the J2ICS. And already we're going 3 wide for the race lead. It's going to get spicy. It's going to get dicey. Squilliam quickly up into the top spot. Biker Pilot now in second. But Cat Daddy, the number 78, right there in the mix as well. Not a lot of room for mistakes for these drivers. A smaller field. Only 13 drivers made their way out. But still plenty of action. Oh, Dutch is off track, and I saw Sneezy out there as well. Looks like all the pieces are still there, and we're going to have a massive pileup in a 13-car grid. How do you lose that many in one go? Eat My Dust gets launched to absolute orbit here. So watch this replay. You're focusing on the number 24 of Eat My Dust. You see one driver back into the wall with a hard hit. That was going to be Cat Daddy with an incident. But then Eat My Dust, the number 24 machine. I think there was some sort of wheel hop or something similar. Yeah, look, it's going to be, is that maybe Nodovan on the right-hand side of your screen, I wonder? No, so far so good. It's the crash happening up ahead of them. But I want to make sure I get this shot here because I don't think I've seen one of these drivers get launched so terrifically before. Back that up. Flip it, reverse it. So you're watching Eat My Dust, the yellow. He's trying to avoid any shenanigans. Pulls over far right side, makes contact with another driver, and then hits the car just ever so perfectly up under the guardrail, absolutely exploding the go fast bits all across that thing. It catches, it digs in, and then he is going to go for an absolutely wild ride. And while that was happening, more carnage. Garlic Dog, Gavin Ammerman involved in some sort of incident during that replay. Ammerman loops it out there. Doesn't look like that bad of an incident, though. I think it's going to be, thankfully, crisis averted. So, with all that said and done, as Nodovan goes off track, as I try and say it's all said and done, it's Squilliam up into the top spot, the number 6 machine. Nodovan in second, and Black Bob sitting in third. Both Black Bob and Simply Steve are up 8 spots, making them our hard chargers of the night. And it looks like Black Bob has a whole lot of pressure there from Simply Steve. William, your race leader, sets the fastest lap of the race as we watch Black Bob and Simply Steve do battle for third. William getting all sorts of love from the fans here tonight. The Urco is the worst admin Grand Prix. Oh, who is that cutting the grass? That's Simply Steve way out into the gravel here. That's going to be Eat My Dust, number 24, seeing the blue flag with this battle for third, hopping out of the way, not wanting to get involved in the battle for position. But Black Bob pushes a little bit wide. Steve taking over the third place spot. That's going to be his 9th position gain. Also have a battle for 5th. It's Garlic Dog, the 199 versus Sneezy Jr. in the 29. And I keep seeing our 2nd place driver, Nodovan, triggering the off-track sensor up here in the broadcast booth. So that 128 who's looking for some redemption after a wild finish in the sprint is going to have to be mindful of incident points accumulated over the course of this 40-minute feature event. Now, at the 15 incident mark, drivers have to serve a drive-through penalty, and then it's every 8 incidents after that. So now things are calming down just a little bit. Squilliam, your race leader, clicks off a 134 flat. He's a little bit shy of 3 seconds up over Nodovan. Simply Steve sitting in third, but we had another off track. It's going to be Black Bob out into the gravel and into the wall. So Wallace, the 666, might be having to come down pit road soon if he has any sort of suspension damage on that race car. And that is exactly what happens. Wallace down pit road. Wallace rolls out of pit road. Now, he's not yet in the fuel window, so he's going to come down pit road once more, we think. Expected fuel window is between 10 to 32 minutes of race time for drivers to come down pit road, take fuel, and have enough to make it till the end here. Now, we still have all 13 drivers out on track as it stands. Garlic Dog and Sneezy getting ready for a battle here in fourth. And I just saw Sneezy Jr., the number 29. He had a bit of an off track. And Nodovan sitting in second just clicks off the fastest lap of the race on 133.61. So our one of two Canadians out on track, Nodovan the 128, starting to get up to pace here. Biker Pilot, he's going to have an off-track excursion, the 42. There goes Gavin Ammerman, the 58, making his way around. Looks like all the Go Fast parts still on Biker Pilot's 42 machine. But let's pan back up. Garlic Dog and Sneezy really starting to wick things up here for fourth. And just like that, Sneezy takes back over the fourth place position. Now, this is interesting. Simply Steve in third, Sneezy in fourth are both up 9 positions very early on here today. Another battle shaping up. Looks like Urko starting to track down David Iezzi. The battle for 6. We got Scurvy Worm Studios join us in the spectator area, cheering on Squilliam, your race leader, 2.5 seconds up over Nodovan. Squilliam looking for some redemption after a very, very rough finish in the sprint. Oh, and something just happened. Where did David Iezzi go? It showed Iezzi came down pit road, but he might have crashed and triggered the pit lane entry, maybe? Well, that's very odd. Oh, my goodness. Iezzi almost pitted backwards by accident there. A good save. But that's going to now put him in the sights of Black Bob, the 666, who's already up 3 spots. So let's see what Wallace can do here. Squilliam Race Leader continues setting fast laps. Now, we believe the fuel window is officially open for these drivers. So on paper, at least, which is easy for me to say up here in the broadcast booth, if drivers come down pit road, they should be good to go on fuel here. It's also going to be very interesting to see if drivers decide to pit. Excuse me, when they pit, if they're going to take tires here. The tire fall off has been reported as extreme by some of the drivers. Wallace trying to keep this momentum up, tucked in behind Iezzi. On board with Black Bob, the 666 machine. Has a big run here, but just can't quite find anywhere to put it. Oh, Iezzi pushes off track. Wallace starts to follow suit here. So both these drivers running 7th and 8th on the ragged edge of their ability, trying to put down some times. This is good racing. Wallace has that rabbit to chase, gives you a little bit more motivation as a driver to close that gap and see if you can hammer down. As I hear tires screaming, that's Garlic Dog keeping the pressure on Sneezy Jr., the battle for 4th. Now, I'm very impressed with Squilliam's redemption here. Again, the fastest lap of the race, a low 133. Has built up just shy of a 4-second advantage up over Nodovan. Simply Steve right out the top 3. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how the points work out here tonight. Squilliam came into tonight the points leader, but a rough result in the sprint race is going to allow some other drivers ample opportunity, I think, to get back in the points chase. Checking back in on Cat Daddy and Eat My Dust. They've got a battle for 11th underway. Cat Daddy pushes a little bit wide there. Triggers the off-track report. And Eat My Dust going to try and close in. Both Cat Daddy and Eat My Dust had to come down pit road on lap 1 to get those cars fixed back into shape. That was Eat My Dust. That was absolutely launched through the air. One of the best replays we've had here at the J2ICS Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications. Now that number 24 machine trying the outside line against Cat Daddy. It's going to be a bit of a drag race here, but it looks like that 24 machine's going to keep it clean. Now, it seems like every Wednesday night, either the Sprint Series here at J2ICS or the Endurance Series that runs on alternative weeks, it seems like there can be a little bit of a lull in the action midway through the race, and then things kind of get frantic towards the end. So I'm going to be excited to see if Squilliam, who still has that 5-second advantage, darn near a 5-second advantage, can hold on to it, or if there's going to be some late race shenanigans throwing some kinks in the mix, if you will. Now, in every practice session we had in preparation for today's main event, Squilliam was the fastest driver out on track. He got down to a 131.779 in the practice session held on Friday, excuse me. It was his 15th out of 17th lap. He was able to make it happen. I'm going to interrupt myself. Garlic Dog has a big moment. I can't quite tell, but those wheels look a little bit askew here. Pushes wide in the gravel. And I would be shocked if he doesn't have front right damage. It looks like that wheel's kind of towed in a little bit. Oh yeah, he's got problems here. Look at the front right pointing in towards the car, so Garlic is going to have the box this lap, I think. Luckily, he's only got a quarter of a lap or so to survive doing it, but odd, it looks like it kind of straightened out here, but I'm almost positive he's got some sort of suspension damage. But let's see. Yes, Garlic Dog is going to come down pit road. So a bit of an unplanned pit stop there. And right as Garlic came down pit road, Dutch crashed. Where's he going? Ah, Dutch got lost. The number 19 machine, Dutch, right as we saw Garlic Dog come down pit road, Dutch is going to pitch it away the exact same corner he did earlier in the race. And then kind of pulls out of the way there. And back down pit road he goes, the number 19 machine. Donovan, one of the first top 5 drivers down pit road. Is it going to be for a pit stop, or is it going to be a drive-through penalty for the 128 machine? Looks like he's signaling he's coming down into his stall. Let's see here. I'm very curious to see if Donovan opts to take tires, or if it's going to be a fuel-only stop here in the 128. Fuel only for the 128. He rolls out of pit road. He lost the spot to Simply Steve. But not too big of a deal here. He's still going to hold a pretty lengthy advantage, I think, over Sneezy. So William holds on to the race lead. Simply Steve now up into second as we're midway through the pit cycle. Now, I'm curious to the fans out there. Do you think anybody's going to take tires during today's feature event? As we are just past the halfway mark, drivers will be displayed the cross green and white flag signaling the halfway mark. But are any drivers going to opt to take tires here? Or are they going to try and save the time on pit road and just avoid or deal with the tire fall off over the course of today's main event? We're only 13 laps in. And Simply Steve is going to come down pit road as well, right at the halfway mark. William, your race leader, opts to stay out. Easy Jr. also down pit road. So Steve also on a fuel-only stop. And your race leader, Squilliam, the only driver who has yet to come down pit road at all here today. So far, it's been everybody only taking fuel at this halfway mark. William has built up about a 32-second advantage. Total pit lane time we're seeing is about 37 seconds, 36 to 37 seconds by the time you cross the entry cones to the time you cross the exit cones. So Squilliam might still have company by the time it's all said and done. And while we are at the halfway mark, I want to give another shout out to our title sponsor of the J2ICS Sprint Series, our friends over at Loop Communications, a provider of fully managed hosted voice services for all your business needs with no contract and no angst. Check out Loop Communications at loopcommunications.com. William continues to stay out here, and still a battle against David Iezzi, Black Bob. Black Bob trying the outside line here, but Iezzi has a little bit more momentum, but no. Black Bob able to make it stick there, moving the 666 up into the 6th place position. That's his 5th spot gain so far. And I've got to tell you, as a driver or a racer myself, very appreciated when you can have somebody else out on track to do battle with. Even if it's the battle for 5th or 6th, excuse me, as we're watching Wallace and Iezzi. Makes the race a lot more fun, a lot more exciting. Urko, the number 33 machine, who this race is named after. Urko is the worst admin at Grand Prix. He's down pit road for his 2nd time here tonight, down into his pit stall. As we watch the 33 machine fall back to the 8th place spot on the live timing tower. In and out of his stall, 7.18 seconds, so another fuel-only stop. There's your race leader, Squilliam, down pit road. He had a 32.9 second margin up over Nodovan coming into pit road. Where are these two going to be in relation to each other once the pit cycle is complete for our top 5 drivers? Let's see, Squilliam in and out, 5.97 seconds. That's one of the fastest pit stops we've seen so far. He was only bested by Sneezy Jr., who had a 5.22. Where is Nodovan going to be in relation? Oh, he's way back, unfortunately, for the 128. Waiting for live timing to catch up. So it looks like Squilliam, following the pit cycle, is going to have a 9.5 second advantage here. Hard charges of the race now that the pit cycle is completed. Simply Steve in 3rd, Sneezy Jr. in 4th. Both up 9 positions here, tied for the hard charger award. The field looks pretty spread out here. A few drivers have not come down pit road that we don't believe are going to be able to make it on fuel. Black Bob Wallace, David Iezzi, Gavin Ammerman, and Cat Daddy all came down pit road lap 4, if not earlier. So I think they're going to be shy on fuel to make it till the end. As the fans rejoice, Squilliam with that dominant race lead here in that number 6. Let's see what the lap times update to here for the number 6 machine, coming out with full fuel once more. A 139 as he gets back up to pace. Squilliam's fastest lap of the race was a 133.28. So that gives you an idea of how tough the track conditions are here. The top drivers are 1 to 2 seconds off their fastest laps of the practice sessions. Now I want to get the, let's see if I can get the weather pulled up here. So ambient temp of 81 degrees, about 3 degrees hotter than it was during practice. Now, one thing we did not have notes of is what the track temps were in practice, but right now, it is an absolute scorching 120 degrees Fahrenheit on the tarmac. So, and still climbing 121 now. So, a very hot, very greasy track here tonight. And I think that is the big contributing factor of how tough things are for these drivers. But now that Williams back up the pace, let's see what the lap time is compared to his fastest lap of the race, that 1:33.28. So it's a 1:34.39 right now. And everybody in the mid to low 134s, if not slower, as they continue to battle the track. Speaking of battles, Black Bob starting to close in to the number 29 of Sneezy Jr. And we had a big off-track reported. Gavin Ammerman. Issues in the 58. Spook Dubs having some woes there. So Black Bob trying to catch the draft off of Sneezy coming out in the start-finish line stretch. He's about a half-second back, so he should be able to grab a little bit of a tow there from the fourth-place driver. Black Bob having a great night. He's up 6 spots, looking to make it 7. As he tracks down one of the drivers tied for the Hard Charger Award. And Black Bob making the pass nice and clean there against Sneezy. So now the number 29 machine out of the Hard Charger position. He's going to try and fire back here against the 666 machine. As we've got just over 11 minutes left to go in today's feature event. David Iezzi coming back down pit road for his second stop, but he's going to have problems coming onto pit road. Pushed a little bit wide on the entrance and put the number 91 machine off track. Came in just a little bit too hot here, I think. Missed the apex ever so slightly onto pit road. Black Bob holding on to fourth, has built up about a second gap over Sneezy Jr. Let's check back in, though. Your race leader, Squilliam, rocking and rolling here tonight. I'm showing 9 drivers still on the lead lap. 12 of 13 are still out on track. Looks like Dutch, the number 19 machine, has unfortunately opted to park it for the evening. He's been in his pit stall for 12 minutes so far. William clicking off laps, making it look easy here. Did a 133.99 his last time by, so as the tires start to fall off, kind of counteracted by the fuel continuously dropping here. Gavin Ammerman, number 58, he's down pit road. That's going to be his second stop as he falls back to 7th. I'm seeing a lot of squids in track as that number 6 machine is still charging forward. Very impressed that all 12 drivers still out on track. The fast repair, that get out of jail free card, is probably a little bit of a contributing factor on that one. And what that means to the fans out there, maybe you're not an iRacer yourself or just looking to get into it. The fast repair is basically a get out of jail free card. You come down pit road, hit the magic button, and you get a brand new race car underneath you, allowing you to get back out on track if you've had an early incident. Less than 7 minutes left to go here. The J2ICS Loop Communication Sprint Series. You've got Squilliam, your race leader, Nodovan second, and Simply Steve sitting in third. Black Bob Wallace, Sneezy Jr. rounding out the top 5. Hard charger of the night, though, is still Simply Steve, that 23 machine in his return. A rough go in the sprint, has made his way up 9 positions so far here in the feature. Cat Daddy's going to come back down pure road, and we had another incident reported for Sneezy. Number 29 machine triggering our crash report here in the broadcast booth. Looks like it's going to be a solo incident as everybody's spread out here. Just pushes wide, missed the mark on the brakes. So as far as incidents go, could have been much, much worse. Cat Daddy's in his pit stall getting some repairs done, or maybe taking some fuel. I think he was one of those drivers, came down pit road very early and getting back out on circuit here after 7.3 seconds in his stall. And man, Squilliam kind of hammering the curbing there. You can hear the car, the banging of bodywork. As Squilliam has a little bit of traffic. That was David Iezzi coming back down Pier Road. I think that's going to be Gavin Ammerman, the number 58 machine. As something has happened between Urko and Garlic Dog. There is car parts scattered here. So let's see what happened. We're focusing on Garlic Dog, the 199. There's Urko trailing behind. Oh, Garlic's going to loop out right into the track, and Urko nowhere to go. Clobbers the front end. So both drivers going to try and drive wounded down pit road. Garlic missing the entire front end of the 199. If we pan back to Urko, it looks like the suspension is all sorts of messed up. There goes Squilliam, your race leader. Urko, another driver facing suspension damage. And Urko just can't catch a break here. The race named after him. And I saw another crash reported. This time it's going to be Biker Pilot, number 42. So drivers starting to have a little bit of tough luck here. Less than 5 minutes left to go. There goes Biker Pilot pitching it away into the gravel. Garlic Dog gets back out on track. Urko makes his way down pit road. Urko in his pit stall as Biker Pilot also down pit road. Less than 3 minutes left to go here. And something has happened. Black Bob Wallace, he's going to come down pit road for a late stop. Did he get a drive-through penalty, and is that going to allow Sneezy Jr. to work his way back up into the 4th place position? Sneezy ripping down the start-finish line. Black Bob getting back out on track, but he's going to be behind the 29 machine in the final couple of laps. Sneezy once again tied now for the hard charger position. Back up 9 positions. 2 minutes left to go. In another race report, Garlic Dog has made his way ahead of David Iezzi, but Iezzi closing fast here, the number 91 machine. Also have Urko and Eat My Dust running nose to tail in the battle for 9th, and just ahead, looks like Black Bob was able to close the distance up here to Sneezy in a continuously heated battle for 4th. Sneezy pushes wide. There goes Black Bob once more. An excellent pass up into the 4th place position. 1 minute left to go before the checkered flag comes out here tonight. So I think these drivers got to do one more lap. I don't think Squilliam is going to make his way to the start-finish line before the checkered is thrown here. And Sneezy is going to pitch it away here. Right in the final corner. Oh, it was a late decision to come down pit road, I think. Just came in way too hot on the brakes. So that has got to be a drive-through penalty for the number 29. There's Squilliam, your race leader. He's going to take the white flag here. The Urko is the worst admin Grand Prix. Has had all sorts of excitement. And this is going to be the final lap. Drivers have opportunities to make something happen. You've got David Iezzi trying to catch the toe off the Garlic Dog's 199 machine. Iezzi makes the pass, does so cleanly. Urko and Eat My Dust still having a battle here for 9th, making the best of an evening they would just as soon forget. Squilliam has a little over a quarter of a lap left to go here before he puts a stamp on the evening and one fantastic redemption. Let's see, does Eat My Dust try and make a move here against Urko in the final laps? Eat My Dust all over the back of Urko. Eat My Dust is going to throw it away here. Might have had to dab the brakes, but put your hands together. Squilliam is going to pick up the win here tonight. A dominant performance, 15 seconds up over the rest of the field. There's Nodovan bringing it home in second, showing he absolutely has the pace to make it happen. And then here comes Simply Steve, who will round out the top three. What a great race amongst these guys. Now, we had a report Sneezy Jr. came down pit road in the final lap. Wonder if he had to serve a penalty before he could take the checker. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays into the results. Tip of the hat as well. Black Bob Wallace able to bring home a fourth. And Hard Charger was Simply Steve and that 23. A fantastic run. Steve enjoying his cool-down lap here. A fantastic finish for that number 6 machine. Looks like we're starting to get the drivers up here to victory lane. We can kick off the podiums. We're going to start things off with Mr. Simply Steve, the number 23 machine. Steve, coming back out of retirement. I believe you were suffering with an injury, but looks like you're finally back, my friend, and ran extremely well, up 9 spots in tonight's Hard Charger.
Yeah, I was on no injury. I was on vacation, so it's good to be back. It's good to be on the podium, and yeah, fun racing.
Now, Steve, after that sprint race where we saw so many good drivers towards the back of the field with incident, were you worried that tonight was going to be a wash, or were you still optimistic that the feature could go your way?
Yeah, I mean, I think whenever you start from the back, I mean, you have to, you can either like bring it home or you keep going. And I feel like my thing was just like, all right, try to get a decent start, try to avoid the carnage. And there was carnage in the same exact spot as there was in the sprint. So I kind of knew it was coming, just tried to make the right call, getting through the craziness. And so, yeah, I don't know, try to keep a good attitude. Last the first challenge.
Definitely made it happen for you, and definitely a teachable moment, knowing where to avoid all the shenanigans. How was the tire wear over the course of today's feature event? I know the sprint was rough, but was it much worse in the feature?
I mean, percentages were pretty good. Like they weren't too bad for me. I think it was mostly just the temperatures. The temperatures ended up just kind of building over the course of a stint, especially if you're pushing. Because the track temp was 46 Celsius, there towards the end. So super, super hot. So I think it's more of a temperature thing, not so much of a wear thing.
Awesome. Steve, always a pleasure, man. Congrats on third. And before I let you go, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen?
Shout out to my teammate, Eat My Dust, holding it down while I've been on vacation, getting the points. Shout out to my girlfriend, family, yeah, and just all J2I. Glad you all are here, and I missed it. Missed being here. So
well, we miss you, buddy. Welcome back, and hopefully the good luck continues for you.
Yeah, let's hope so.
That was Simply Steve bringing it home. And third up next, back-to-back podiums. Nodovan, welcome back, the 128, showing that you have the raw pace and able to make this one happen. No incidents to mar the results here in the feature.
Yeah, it's I feel a little bit better about this one.
Yeah, nobody crashed. There was no incidents that they're going to have to be reviewed. I mean, just straight a great run up 4 spots over the feature event and able to keep your nose clean. So how are you able to navigate that opening lap or so as everybody's getting in the groove and crashing some race cars? How are you able to get through cleanly?
Well, I learned my lesson the first one because I was the one who spun that one. But this one, I think I was just a little bit lucky because like I noticed there was a car who followed me, but I think he got tagged. So if I was a little bit slower, that could have been me. But just kind of the stars aligned, I guess, and I was in second by the end of the first lap.
Yeah, I mean, made it happen, and then from there it was smooth sailing. Now, With that kind of open gap that you have between Squilliam and Simply Steve sitting in third, is it hard to stay focused when you're just kind of out there hot lapping by yourself?
I struggle with it a little bit. I like racing other people. I find it really boring to just hot lap. But for me, it was a little. I don't know, I had to stay on my toes because I was approaching the X limit. Like I think I finished with 13x, and I had 11 before my pit stop. So I was kind of taking it a little bit easy. I wasn't really hot lapping at all. I tried to take the fast lap at the end on the last lap, but I wasn't quick enough.
Well, hey, man, still a great show all the way around. Back-to-back podiums, a great run for you in the 128. Before I let you go and unwind from this one, who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen?
I'd like to shout out Night Racing. That's my team. We're doing pretty good. We're hopefully my teammate can join us for the rest of the season so that we can really start getting points in the bag. But hopefully by the end of the season, we'll actually take the championship this time.
Awesome. I'll be cheering for you guys up here in the booth. Nodovan, always a pleasure, bud, and hopefully we'll have you back up here next week.
Yeah, thank you.
That was Nodovan bringing it home in second, but up next, the man, the myth, the legend, Squilliam joined us in the top spot. A bit of a redemption arc, and Squilliam, if I see one more squid posted in the spectator area, I'm going to lose my mind.
I don't have control over what those people do, man. I just know them. They're my friends, but I can't stop it, man.
Hey, man, the fans were out here in force, and I think everybody was bummed, spectators, broadcaster, racer alike, about how things went in the sprint. But how cool is it to get that redemption in the feature event, to get back up here and kind of overcome a very rough start to the night?
Yeah, no, the first race was definitely a bit of a doozy. I can't say I'm happy about it for multiple reasons, but I'm not going to expand on that. But yeah, it was nice to be able to at least get into that 7th place spot. I got a little lucky that when Steve and Garlic were kind of fighting each other, that he seemed to really hold up Steve and Biker, and I was able to stay with Steve and zoot by him and stuff. And at the end of the day, I was kind of content with just sitting behind Steve and just getting that pole position for the next race, given, the events of turn 1. But yeah, no, it was good. I feel like I drove pretty well in that second race, so can't complain there.
Now, after that sprint race, when this inverted grid set you up well for the feature, what was the strategy to try and keep your nose clean in the opening lap and kind of avoid the sprint race shenanigans we saw?
Yeah, I think I just went really, really wide and tried to leave a lot of room. We went 3 wide, and I almost thought about backing out of it, to be honest, but I thought, mama didn't raise no bitch. So I tried to hang it out there and just leave a lot of space. The track also just naturally gets way hotter in the second race. It's usually 20 to 30 degrees hotter. And so getting just around the track those first 3 or 4 laps before the tires really start to get to temperature are really rough. So it's just all about keeping the car planted and just getting through those initial laps.
Now, Will, we had some drivers mention in practice and qualifying that this might be a rare race where we see drivers take tires during the feature event. How is a call like that made? Should you or should you not take tires when the track is so hot and greasy out here?
Yeah, I think it all just comes down to how the car feels for you at the moment. I mean, for me, I kind of wished I had taken tires, but I didn't. The tires are pretty quick, so you're not losing that much time. And if I had taken them, I think I would have stayed ahead of Nodovan. But the car felt decent at the time. It really wasn't until the last 8-ish laps that the car was a little bit sketchy. But then I just kind of got into just a cool down mode, I guess, and just holding that gap to Nodovan. There's no point in pushing it. I'm not going to get the fastest lap anymore, improve on it, and as long as I can just keep that gap, there's no point in going crazy.
Well, Squilliam, glad to see you kind of overcome adversity, bringing home the top spot here at the Urco's The Worst Admin Grand Prix. And tonight, my friend, you've got the privilege, the pleasure, the final send-offs of the evening. Who do you want to give a shout to that helped make it happen?
I want to give out a shout out to Spook Dubs, actually. I was hanging out with him in the chat all race. That dude has improved a lot the past couple weeks. He's new to J2I this season, and he is getting wicked quick. I think he's going to be somebody to look out for. So shout out to him for having a really good race today and pulling into 5th place in the feature. And I think he did pretty well in the sprint as well. I think he got 2nd in the sprint. So awesome performance to him and big shout out. So.
Well, very well said. Squim, always a pleasure, buddy. Hopefully we'll have you up next week, and congratulations on a big feature win here tonight.
Appreciate it, man.
That was Squilliam bringing it home in the top spot here. The J2ICS Sprint Series, sponsored by Loop Communications. He was accompanied by Nodovan in the second place spot and Simply Steve rounding out the top three. On behalf of J2ICS.com, my name has been James East with Team Goon Squad Broadcasting. Thank you all so much for spending your Wednesday night with us, and we'll see you at the next one. Have a great night, everybody.